Hey there, I'm Tom Cherryholmes with IRATA.ONLINE, and I wanted to give a status report on the Atari version of PLATOTerm. As a reminder, PLATOTerm is a terminal emulator program that I am writing for over 12 different vintage computer systems to allow them to connect to Plato-based online services such as IRATA.ONLINE and cyber1.org. This is possible because PLATOTerm is written in C, and I am using various C-based toolchains and compilers to target each of the individual vintage computer machines. And the Atari version is coming along quite nicely. I want to take, and while there is still a lot of work left to be done, I kind of wanted to show you where things are at. So with that, I will take a little aside before we actually start the machine here to show a little bit of the hardware complement that's actually happening here. We have here Altera running on my development machine, and I have a fairly standard Atari 800XL configured with 64K of RAM and an 850 interface module and the modem device here. Nothing too far out of the ordinary here, although other serial devices, basically in theory, anything that exposes a standard R device is supported. And if I don't have a handler for your R device, please let me know and I will take and include it in the distribution. So we'll go ahead and start with this particular configuration here. Go ahead and close this window for a moment and go over to the demonstration machine here and boot the result. I have my Plato disk in drive 1. And we can see here, we boot in. This is a MIDOS 4.53 disk, and I am using the auto run chaining facility to take and provide the automatic boot up facility are present on it. Now it's worth noting that when we booted this disk, it came up with a little pause here. It showed you the current handler that is currently going to be loaded and giving you an opportunity to take and change that handler by pressing any key. If you press any key, you get this menu here, which gives you currently 5 options, various different handlers. Option 5 is a special option if you have a device such as a parallel bus device that is providing its own handler and you don't load. Since we have an 850 interface in here, we go ahead and choose option 1, and it will take and copy that into place so that it is automatically loaded and selected the next time. The computer subsequently reboots, and we will be greeted with the same countdown screen here, so we have the opportunity to change it again if we wish, or we can simply wait for it to time out and it will load. Now there is a little bit of a bug here where I'm trying to fix. Sometimes after you've changed the handler here, this happens and it will take and bounce you to MIDOS. Working to fix this, any bugs that I'm trying to work through. The fix is simply they can reset. Come back here again and hopefully it will take and load this time. This is pre-alpha software, folks. We go ahead and it looks like it's loading this time. Now this is using the MIDOS auto run chaining facility here, so MIDOS doesn't allocate any buffers for loading the different auto run segments, so it's a bit slower than usual. But we can see here serial driver is loaded and we're greeted with the PLATOTerm splash screen. The splash screen, like on all other versions of PLATOTerm, is actual Plato data that is being rendered using the internal protocol decoder. So what you see here is indicative of the type of graphics that you will get on the screen. The we can see that the serial port is working because we got indication that the driver was loaded and initialized, but also that I left in for the purposes of debugging here. There's an echo packet that's stuffed inside of the splash screen, and we see the result of that echo packet out here as a C. I just left that in to make sure, so that I could make sure that the serial port actually works. And if we type, we can see that we get an OK back. Now it is worth noting that I'm using, that I am reading the keyboard directly here. So you're not hearing any key clicks. I'm going to see if I can improve this a bit here, but this gets us started and gets us usable terminal as quickly as possible, while allowing us to have access to as many keystrokes combinations as we possibly can. They're not all here though, as you'll see in just a minute. So with that, we'll go ahead and log into IRATA.ONLINE. Since I have my modem directly set up to automatically connect, I'll just do an ATDT. Ignore the connect string, that's just what IRATA is pulling back by default. We are currently connected at approximately 1200 bits per second. As we can see here, we're doing just fine. So let's go ahead and log in. Here, it's rendering just fine. All good. So test here, we will actually go into checkers, output checkers. The same protocol bugs that we see in all of the other current versions of PLATOTerm also manifest here. I'm working on debugging those as I bring all of these up. So as I fix the protocol rendering errors in one version of the program, all of the versions of the program will manifest. Here, our checkers loading screen, downloading the particular font into memory, and we'll be done in just a moment here. Now it is worth noting that there is no hardware flow control currently being implemented. This is why I'm running at 1200 bits per second. But I am trying to implement hardware flow control as best as I possibly can. And as we can see here, we still have some issues with characters not being decoded quite correctly here. But again, this worked on this seems to work on real hardware. There seems to be a weird discrepancy here. Not quite sure what could be happening here. I'll try to take and debug this as best I can. We're going to see some corrupted, yeah, as expected, we've got some corrupted characters. Although the checkerboard seems very strange. Anyway, so there we go with that. We'll go ahead and hit Control-Shift-S for stop. We get the opportunity to press data to continue working. That with Control-D. You see that we're back here at the main menu. So, I mean, as you can see, this is kind of where we're at this particular point in time. Now I want to go ahead and actually do one more particular demonstration here, and that is the SpartaDOS installer that I've added onto the distribution disk. I'll also modify it for MyDOS as well, but currently it's working for SpartaDOS, so that you can install this onto a hard drive. To do that, we need to take and modify the system configuration ever so slightly. So we'll go ahead and devices menu. We'll go ahead and delete the 850 interface module here, and we'll put in a black box just as an example here. I don't need the printer port, just RS232, and we'll attach them. Okay, same functionality here, and I guess for the sake of truth, I'll take and push that. We'll go ahead, that's now configured, and with that, we just need to do one more little adjustment. Quick. I actually need to add my hard drive here. File, and pick my black box hard drive here. So now with that, we have a hard disk image here and we have a modem. Go ahead and hit OK. And with that, we can go ahead and subsequently reboot the computer. And we can see right here, I've got a copy of Real DOS here. I have a version of Plato that's installed onto the disk. I will go ahead and just delete it. So let's say you have a hard disk here, directories on it, and you want to install the Plato disk. Well, to do that, all we need to do is insert the Plato disk into an accessible drive on your setup. What this is depends on your setup, so I don't go into too much detail there. In my case, it's on drive 2. And we can see here the contents of the distribution disk. We can see here the individual mouse and serial drivers that make up the disk. And we can see a handful of binary files that correspond to the different handlers that can be loaded. Standard Atari binary load files. We also see a file here called install. And if we run install, we have a SpartaDOS hard disk installer. And we get a little explanation here that this is for SpartaDOS and giving us the opportunity, if we came in here by mistake, to leave. We do want to be here, so we go ahead and press it. And we get much the same basic explanation that we got on the MyDOS version of the setup utility here for the different R handlers that we want to use. I have a black box, so I'll go ahead and use option number 4 here. And I want to install this onto my hard drive in a directory called Plato off the root folder. So I give that as a default example here. Go ahead. We absolutely sure. And we need to go ahead and press yes. It creates the directory. Now the directory is actually created recursively, so if you want to take and put it a couple of levels deep and those folders don't exist yet, it will create it automatically. As we can see here, a nice little installer here, progress bar and everything. It copies the file here. And once we're done, okay, installation complete. All we have to do is move to our installation directory, which we see our Plato directory here. And one of the things that two of the things that the installer did. First, it copied the Plato terminal program, which is autorun.ar2, as plato.com on the target here. That's the main program, and it copied whichever handler you selected as rs232.com over here in your default directory here. Now, if I go ahead and run rs232, we can see that there's a hyperspeed accelerator. We can subsequently load Plato simply by Plato B, serial driver loaded, with much the same output here. So, I mean, as you can see, this is kind of where things are at this particular time. Still a lot of bugs to fix, still a lot of things to deal with, but hopefully here, I hope that this serves as a good solid demonstration here of where the Atari version of the software is. With that, thank you very much for watching. There will be more to come soon.